So today, folks, we're here at NASA at Kennedy Space Center on the Florida coast. This place has always been on my bucket list as a nerd because I'm always fascinated with sci-fi movies and space exploration. So today we're gonna be exploring the place, and later on I have a surprise for you. In just T-minus 3 hours, a Falcon 9 rocket is going to be launching from this very location, carrying 22 Starlink satellites into Earth's orbit. And we're going to be here to watch the launch. All right, so let's buy a ticket. Oh my goodness, it's $75 for admission, 1 day admission. That's a lot of money. It's very expensive. Well, a lot of you folks have asked me how long I'm planning to stay here in the United States, but only as long as my budget allows me. But if I keep on visiting expensive places like this, I think I'm gonna go home tomorrow. So anyway, let's go buy a ticket now. Boop, boop, boop. Buy now. I'm about to enter the primary launch facility for human spaceflight, and with the new generation of rockets being developed by private companies, this place is busier than ever. I was lucky to be able to come on a day when there was a launch scheduled, but you never know when Florida's unpredictable weather might scrub the whole thing. The very first thing you see when you get through the gate is the famous rocket garden, with vehicles that were used since the beginning of spaceflight. Well, folks, can you imagine how scary it would be to go up in one of these or maybe coming back down to Earth? I don't know which one is worse. Let's ask someone who should know.
Okay.
What's scarier, lift off or splash down?
Coming back. Coming back is more dangerous.
Oh, coming back.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Well, there's your answer. So this is a Saturn I rocket. It's huge, it's a monster, but it's nothing compared to the one that actually went to the moon. And this is its big brother, Saturn V. It stands 36 stories tall. And guys, this is not a reproduction, this is actually Apollo 18. But the mission was canceled, so that's why it's here for us to enjoy. It's hard to imagine the brain power it must have taken to engineer this thing and the number of man-hours needed to build and test it. And can you imagine being brave enough to strap yourself into it and leave planet Earth? And here I am patting myself on the back for climbing a coconut tree. It took the resolve of an entire nation working as one to do something that most people thought was impossible, to reach the moon and beyond. This place is full of exhibits and hands-on activities like a flight simulator and a recreation of the first lunar lander. But even though I'm surrounded by all this fascinating stuff, I still have to take a time out to answer nature's call. So folks, I'm gonna use a toilet just like the ones on the International Space Station. Well, I hope this one wasn't designed by Howard Wolowitz, or there'll be space poop on the ceiling. So, get away. I need my space. Go away! So folks, behind me is the actual capsule from Apollo 14 that carried 3 astronauts and 100 pounds of moon rock back to Earth. It's got 2 million parts and 24 kilometers of wire. What a marvel of engineering. And I can almost touch it. Look! So near, yet so far. This is the actual spacesuit of Alan Shepard. How amazing! And his suit is covered with gray moon dust. Real moon dust. Talk about history. Many people don't know that Neil Armstrong actually flopped his line because there was a missing "a" in the sentence. It should have been, "That's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind." See? I don't feel so bad about myself for getting the sometimes. So folks, this is the earlier model of the Lunar Rover that the astronauts brought to the moon. The astronauts can't really walk that far because of their gear, so what they did is to bring a little car. How cool is that? And on this side, this is the newer version that they assembled on the moon. The newer rovers are higher off the ground and they have a wider turning radius so that the astronauts can go farther to explore. And both of these rovers are still up there on the moon, orbiting like forever. So NASA engineers say that if you put in new batteries, they're still gonna work and you can still drive them up there. How cool is that? This is a model of the rover they plan to put on Mars. It looks much more heavy duty than the old Lunar Rover, and the wheels look more like rotating balls than regular tires, so it can navigate the rocky Martian surface. We'll get to Mars in my lifetime, but I sure wish we'd hurry up. I'm sick of waiting. And then I got to visit the Space Shuttle exhibit. This is just the solid rocket booster that lifted the shuttle into space before separating and falling back into the ocean. Absolutely massive. So folks, this is the coolest thing I've seen so far. This is the Space Shuttle Atlantis. It was in service for 26 years and flew 33 missions. It's a little worn out now, but every mark and every smudge tells a story. I wouldn't want to fly in it, but I surely admire those people who did. Even though the shuttle program was plagued with problems like cracked O-rings and faulty heat shields that resulted in 2 tragic disasters, it was instrumental in lifting pieces of the International Space Station into orbit. You can see the wear and tear on the Atlantis, where repairs were made and pieces were refitted, but at least she finally has a worthy resting place where each of her wounds is a badge of honor, and she can be appreciated for generations to come. There was still so much to see that I couldn't possibly experience it all in just one trip. I really didn't know which way to turn, but I came across one final exhibit that reminded me just how important the human element was. This is not a mock-up. This is the actual control room during Apollo 8. Imagine the ancient equipment they had to use. My laptop is more powerful than this. It was in a control room like this that the brilliant minds at NASA saved the day and brought home the stranded crew of Apollo 13 using nothing more than duct tape and a few spare parts. If I'm ever in space, I know who I want backing me up. These guys. Folks, I'm gonna try some astronaut food that they actually eat in space. And this is a freeze-dried ice cream sandwich. This is their dessert. So let's try them. This is what it looks like. So let's take a bite. It's a bit hard, but it tastes so good. I might want to be an astronaut just to get some of these. It's worth it. That was literally a blast. I had so much fun today, folks, and this is one of the highlights of my trip so far, and I highly recommend it for an afternoon adventure. And I'm also honored that I was able to experience some of your country's history right here at Kennedy Space Center. Where will I go next? Who knows? I don't know either. So, till then, folks, bye. The structure behind me is the Vehicle Assembly Building, which is the biggest and tallest one-story building in the world. The doors are so massive that it takes 45 minutes just to open them. Next to it is Launch Pad 40, where the Falcon 9 is going to be launching today, and all we have to do is wait for a few hours.
3, 2, 1, engines full power, and liftoff of Starlink. Go Falcon, go Starlink.
Vehicle is pitching downrange.
Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
Nominal power and telemetry.
MVAC engine chill has started. main engine cutoff.
Stage separation confirmed.
MVAC ignition.
What a great end to a great day. This is Mission Control. Go ahead, Apollo 13.
Houston, we have a problem.
Well, I was just about to go to lunch. Can it wait?
We are venting something out into space. It's got to be the oxygen.
So you still have some oxygen, right? Then I think what you meant to say is that you will have a problem in the future when the oxygen runs out. So why are you bothering me now? Just call back when there's an actual emergency.
We had a pretty large bang.
You heard a bang. You're calling a Filipino to complain about a loud noise?
One whole side of the spacecraft is missing.
Which means that one whole side of the spacecraft is in perfect shape. Why do you have to be such a glass half empty kind of guy?
We have a main bus B undervolt. Oh, there's another master alarm, Houston. We've got a pins light.
Fire doesn't make any sense.
We got multiple caution and warning, Houston.
Oh, you Westerners, and you're complaining. Now I'll tell you what I can do. When I get back from lunch, I'll fill out the request for assistance form, and if the flight director shows up today, I'll make sure he sees it. Until then, stop overthinking things. Just relax and enjoy the view. Bahala na! By the way, there's a 20 peso fee for submitting the form, which has to be paid in cash, in person, before we proceed with any assistance.
Gentlemen, it's been a privilege flying with you.
Americans. Today, I'm gonna try a store that I've seen all over the place, and apparently, everything there costs $1.25. So it's about 60 pesos. And it's called a Dollar Tree. So let's go and find out what they have for us today. All right, folks, before we enter, these tubes caught my eye, and they're called pool noodle. I don't know what they are. What are you supposed to do with it? I mean, do you get to eat them when you soak in the pool? And they're also hollow. I don't know what they are, but I'm sure it has something to do with the pool. Oh well, let's go inside. Huh. Sunny D. I wonder if this is orange juice because there's orange, lemon, grapefruit, and lime on the picture. So maybe a little bit of everything in one bottle? Huh. This is only $1.25, this big ass bottle. Let me just check the, oh my goodness gracious, 24% sugar? Ah, no thank you. Oh my gosh, this is $1.25, this conditioner, and look, it's VO5. It's a well-known brand, even in the Philippines. And back home, it'll cost me about $6 or more. And with this hair, yeah, I'm gonna need a lot of it. Look at these raspberry preserves. Back home, I'd be paying $5 at Robinson's Mall. But here, $1.25, you have to manufacture it, transport it to different stores and still make a profit? It doesn't make sense. But hey, I ain't complaining. Oh my gosh, guys, I found it. It's a coconut bra. Remember I told you in my previous video that I was gonna sing a song, Civilization by Danny Kaye. But unfortunately, I can't find the costume, the rightful costume, like a girl living in a jungle, like, you know, a coconut bra. Halfway around the world, I found it! And it's only $1.25, so this is definitely a deal for today. I'm gonna get this. Well, folks, I can't stop smiling because I'm like a kid in a candy shop, because this store is the equivalent of a well-stocked department store in the Philippines. They've got food, they've got clothes, they got school supplies, hair care products, and everything. I could just live here. It's crazy good. Alrighty, folks, so this has been a fruitful expedition. So I can cook myself meals for weeks and it's gonna save me some money. Awesome. If you think about it, I'm kind of like an astronaut, taking you places no man has gone before by giving you the best inside scoop about life in the Philippines. I know that learning an alien culture can be a real asteroid in Uranus, but my info will put you light years ahead of the competition. And if you follow my advice, you definitely won't have a failure to launch after you splash down here. All I ask for my technical expertise is that you give a thumbs up on this video, share it with friends, and hit the notification bell so you're in time to watch the next launch. And I'd be over the moon if you checked out my Patreon page for bonus features and exclusive content. While waiting to blast off, why not check out some of my other videos too? So, want to join me for a little horizontal docking maneuver in 0G? It's out of this world. Is that a rocket in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?